Smoke. Kim Yu-jeong source, Changong March issue, 1937. When my eyes are open, there is nothing, but when I pull the blanket over my head, I occasionally strike it rich. As I was coming out of the public latrine in a half-hearted squat after finishing my business, I stopped by the wall, my eyes widening. Oh, what on earth is this? A yellowish thing was shining brilliantly, almost blindingly, as if spreading its fingers. When I gave it a cautious poke, it felt chewy and sticky, just like freshly hardened taffy. Hey, you're a suspicious fellow, indeed. It wasn't likely that someone had fashioned the latrine post out of taffy. I pulled out my pocket knife and gave it a long experimental slice. A chunk of the yellow mass fell off without much trouble. I balled it up and rubbed it vigorously against the stepping stone in front of me. And oh, was this not pure gold? This gold, which had been dragged off and humiliated under a false accusation. This gold, which had been snatched away by Yun Hong just because I was young. This gold, for which I endured all the persecution from my older sister just to get a bite of food. I rubbed it once more against the stepping stone and dashed out into the street just as I was. Naturally, both my pockets were bulging, heavy with gold. 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 Oh, it is gold. On the empty street, generals were riding up and down on huge fat pigs. It was a bright morning, a good season called spring. On the willow trees lining both sides of the road, red flowers the size of fists hung from every branch. As a light breeze hummed, fluttering the colorful petals, my body floated up into the air. Hey, this feels grand, but it would be a disaster if the gold flew away. I was clenching both my pockets tightly with my hands when suddenly I fell with a thud. You rogue, where do you think you're throwing me? My head was spinning, but when I looked around clearly, I realized I was right in front of the gate of my own house. I kicked the gate open and rushed inside. My sister was someone who thirsted for even a single penny. If I showed her this yellow lump of gold, she would surely gasp in astonishment. Sister, we've hit the jackpot. I shouted this out in a single breath, but she gave no answer. She merely kept her eyes cast down unpleasantly, ladling out and gulping down red bean porridge. When she finally did open her mouth, it was only to say, "Did you manage to find a job today?" That same old question she asked without fail whenever I so much as stepped outside the gate. By now, my ears were quite thin from hearing it. But no matter. From today on, I didn't have to beg for her food anymore. A job, my foot, I snorted with a laugh. Look at this. This is a gold nugget. Take a good look. I thrust both my hands right under her nose. Could she possibly not salivate at this? She narrowed her eyes and peered at it intently, until finally she had no choice but to look up at my face. After scanning back and forth between the gold nugget and my face several times, she asked, "Where did you get this?" And then, didn't tears suddenly come pouring from her two eyes? And just as I expected, her nimble hands reached out and snatched it. Oh, my gold! My sister, who was always prone to crying at the slightest thing, even seeing gold, she was still in tears. Looking at this, I felt that obtaining the gold was worth it for this moment alone. This sister of mine, who had constantly hounded me for being a lazy bum who just rolled around and ate, it was my turn to pay her back in full. I snatched the gold away from her as she held it weeping. "What are you doing? It'll wear away," I yelled out just to show her. The reason I was so happy to get the gold was truly to see my sister in this state. Did she think she could just touch such gold recklessly? Not a chance. I boldly stuffed the gold back into my pocket. "From today, I'm moving out. Your food tastes awful anyway." I bragged and put on IRS as much as my talent allowed. Surely, she'd get the message by now. It didn't matter anymore whether she got angry or not. I wasn't in a position to take her nonsense. I went into the across room with a swagger and began packing my few belongings and bedding into a bundle. Once I walked out with this, that would be the end of it. Without even thinking of calling a taxi, I was about to stand up with the bundle when my sister, who had been standing there dazed and clueless until then, grabbed my arm. "Hey, why are you being like this?" "I'm going to earn and eat my own food from today on." "Oh, don't be like that. I won't do it anymore." "It's not that I'm angry or pouting like a child because you scolded me for eating your food for free," I said, making sure to twist the knife in her heart. "Look, I was wrong. From now on, You can take naps whenever you want, okay? She wouldn't nag me about not getting a job. She begged and pleaded, with pitiful tears in her pale face, asking me to please live together in harmony. Was this really the same sister who used to whine and cry day and night about me just playing and eating? Let go of me. I said I don't want to. I threw her off and stepped down into the yard with high spirits. I moved just far enough so that she could chase me out barefoot and cling to me weeping again. But as I reached the gate, a sparrow that had been pecking at rice in the yard suddenly flew up. The creature darted right under my chin. I don't know where it learned such manners, and bit down hard on my throat. It hung there, dangling and fluttering. Oh, 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 I'm dying! The pain was one thing, but first I was suffocating. I tried to grab the sparrow with the hands that were holding the bundle to pull it off, thinking, "You rude little thing!" I put every ounce of strength I had into it, as if to see whose neck would snap first, and gave it a violent yank, only to find it was the smoke beneath my nose. Oh, I'm dying. The more I pulled, the more the sparrow clung like a leech, making it even harder to breathe. As luck would have it, my nose was positioned right over a hole in the torn floor paper, acting as a lookout. Through that hole, the acrid smoke from cooking breakfast was billowing up. That smoke alone was enough to choke me, yet here I was, lying down and clutching my own neck tightly with my own hands. What kind of sleep is this? My sister, who must have arrived at some point, slid the paper door open, her eyes sharp as blades. I hadn't followed her words from last night, to go out early today and meet the people I was supposed to meet, so she must have been furious. The veins on her thin neck bulged. If you're going to get a job or whatever, you should at least put some heart into going around. It was a stinging command, as if she had swallowed a thorn. No matter how hard I looked, there wasn't a shadow of the sister who had just been weeping and begging me to stay with her forever. How could a person change so much? I, too, opened my eyes wide and stared at her for a long time with a dazed expression, as if the whole thing were a hollow absurdity. It didn't seem like the work of a human being. During the day, my sister plays the trick, and at night, I play the trick. As my hand went up to wipe the sweat from my forehead, I realized my face was turning red and quickly ducked back under the blanket. Inside the blanket, the smoke from a moment ago still remained. The golden dream has faded, leaving only a faint scent of wood smoke in the air. Like the protagonist, perhaps we all need those fleeting moments of glory beneath our blankets to face the waking world. Let the lingering warmth of the story tuck you in. The night is still, and your dreams are waiting. Sleep well.